What's going on, everyone? My name's Andy and welcome to another pre-season FPL 18-19 video. Going to do something a little bit different today. We're obviously very close now to the start of the season, and generally when I stream, people will ask me what my predictions are for the season. And at the end of the season they'll ask me what they were and I'll have forgotten what I said. So I thought I'd do a whole video dedicated to that. So I'm going to take a look at who I think will be in the top 6 and what order, bottom 3, and then the top scorer, most assists, top clean sheets for a team, and then look at who the highest FPL point scorers will be for goalkeeper, defender, midfielder and forward. At the end of the season, I can take a look at just how good or probably how bad I did. So we'll just jump straight into the video and take a look at the top 6 and bottom 3 first of all. So we'll start off with the top 6 and bottom 3. I will say at the time of recording this, there is still the transfer window being open for another 3 days. So potentially there could be some big signings coming and going. Courtois to leave Chelsea, for example, might happen. But obviously I don't think there's going to be too much that will sway my opinions of where these teams are going to finish. So we'll start off with the top 6. I don't want to spend too much time on this because there's other stuff to go through in this video. I'll give you a quick rundown of why I've picked these teams on at least in the order I've got. I don't think anyone's going to break into the top 6 that was different from last year. So Man City to win the league again, I think their strength in depth is just so good. When you replace one player out of the team, they've just got another one that can come in and do the job just as well. They look well drilled, even at the start in the Community Shield, they were all over Chelsea, played much better. They just look like they've started from how they left off last season, and that was without David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling. So once they come back, they're going to be even stronger again. So I don't think anyone can do much to stop them retaining the title. I think they will do that. Liverpool running a close second. I think they've strengthened in really good positions. Fabinho, Keita are in now. They've got Shaqiri, Milner and Lallana as backup. And they've got a world-class goalie now in Alisson Becker, which is really going to help. And they've got Robertson and Van Dijk, which you think would start in the back four. So their back four is now quite established. Played a lot of games together last year. And they've got the goalkeeper behind them and Fabinho in front of them as well as Keita. So I think Liverpool are going to do really well. I think they've got a bit more strength in depth now, but not as much as Man City. I just think they won't have enough to topple Man City. But the way both those teams play, they absolutely go for it. Goals galore. They're pressing, getting the ball back quick, keeping the ball as well. Probably Man City more so than Liverpool, but Liverpool are still going to put so many goals past the teams. Other teams in the league, and they kept 17 clean sheets last year, which was only 1 less than Man City and 2 less than Man United. And I think with the players they brought in, they can tighten up even further. So I think they're going to be the ones to beat. That's not Man City. I think they'll come second. And then Man United in third. I don't know what to think about Man United too much. I've got Mourinho obviously at the helm. He's an experienced manager, knows what he's doing. No matter what anyone says about him, whether he's arrogant, a bit of an idiot, whatever you want to call him, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to win. Yes, he doesn't attack like Liverpool or Man City, but still came second last year, having what most people would call a poor season the way Man United played. I don't think they're going to get worse this year. Most of the same team obviously bought in Fred in midfield. We still don't know if they're going to bring in any more players. They're looking at a centre-back. But I think Mourinho is going to have enough to finish third because Chelsea and Arsenal have got new managers there. Might take a bit of time to bed in, and Spurs have made no change as well. So I think Mourinho will get third, but I just don't think going to get into the top 2 this year. I think Liverpool are strengthened in the right places and they're going in the right direction. So Liverpool second, Man United third. And then Spurs, they've made, I don't think they've made any signings so far. Obviously Lucas Moura now has had a full pre-season, looks pretty good. He's going to help out at the start of the season, but Kane, Ali, players like that are going to miss the start, but probably only game week 1 at the most. So I think their core looks really good still, Spurs, but their strength in depth is not great. So I think they'll get 4th spot this year, but I don't think they'll push on any further than that. And then Chelsea and Arsenal, probably a bit cliche, new managers come in, so I don't think they can get top 4 just because of the quality that the other teams have got. But I think obviously next year will be a little bit different. Chelsea, I think they possibly need a new striker. I think Batshuayi is good, but doesn't seem to be getting a chance under other Chelsea managers. That might change with Sarri. Obviously, he was at the World Cup a lot, so potentially coming back a bit later than the rest of the team. Maybe he'll get a chance. I just don't know if he's the guy to kind of lead Chelsea to victory. We'll see how he does. Obviously, he did really good at Borussia Dortmund, so maybe he will come in and do that for Chelsea. But they seem to be going with Morata, but he's just lacking confidence at the moment. But he's a quality striker, so you've got to think sooner rather than later he's going to start getting on the end of those balls and scoring goals. So for me, Sarri has got a big reputation. He's going to come in, play Sarri ball, as people keep calling it, change to a 4-3-3. I think that'll take some getting used to for Chelsea because they've played 3 at the back for the last 2 seasons. But with Kanté in the middle and Jorginho coming in as well, I think they're looking pretty good. I'm just not sure they're going to get into the top 4 spot. I think there's going to be too many changes for Chelsea this year, and potentially it'll be next year when Sarri's had his time to put complete mark on the team, will be when they start challenging for the top 4. And then a similar story for Arsenal. Obviously, they've had Wenger for so long. It's going to be a huge change to get going under a new manager. Lots of new signings, Torreira, Socrates, Lichtsteiner as well. Aubameyang now for a full season. Obviously, they signed him in January. I think he'll be really good. And arguably probably one of the best strikers in the league, maybe just behind Kane or Aguero or even equal with them. So I think he's got the potential to do well. I just don't know if Arsenal are going to be able to push on quickly enough to get into the top 4. So for top 6, that's my current lineup. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think it will be that, or do you think it's someone else different is going to win the league or get into top 4? So looking at the bottom 3, I'm fairly confident about Cardiff and Huddersfield predictions, but maybe not so much about Fulham. Obviously, it's quite cliche to put in the newly promoted sides into the relegation spots, but I think that happens for a reason, because it is very tough to come into the Premier League and play well enough to stay in there. Obviously, Brighton and Huddersfield did it nicely last season, but I'm not so sure Cardiff or Fulham will be able to do it. Obviously, Wolves came up as well, but they're looking pretty good. They've made some pretty nice additions to their squad. Very good quality, experienced players. So I think they'll have enough to stay up for sure. I don't know about coming kind of top 11, top 10. A lot of people saying they will. I don't know if they're quite that good, but fair enough. I didn't watch them enough last season, to be fair. But definitely enough to stay in the league for me. I look at Cardiff and I just think they've not got enough quality in their squad to stay up. Again, talking about cliches, a lot of people will say you need that striker to kind of get you 10, 11, 12 goals to make sure you stay up. And I just don't know if Cardiff have got that in attack, enough players to score them enough goals. And then will they be able to keep clean sheets and stop other teams scoring against them? So for me, Cardiff will probably be going down this season. Huddersfield, worst goal difference last year in the Premier League, did come quite close to relegation. Again, I just don't think they're going to stop enough goals going in from the opposition. They're not really strengthened in attack enough where I can see where more goals are going to come from this year to make them win more matches. So for me, Huddersfield are definitely going to be down in that relegation spot. Whether that happens at the start of the season or they come down into it as the season goes on, I don't know. But Cardiff and Huddersfield, I think, definitely in those spots. And then Fulham's kind of a tough one. They got some talent. Obviously, they got Sessegnon on the air, bright young talent. Mitrovic, who did well for them last year, they've now signed. So potentially they could do well. But when I look at the other teams that are kind of being touted as getting dragged into the drop, so Southampton, I just think if they can get Gabbiadini and Austin scoring, they'll be fine. I think the rest of their squad is pretty good defensively and in midfield. Watford maybe need a new striker. Will Deeney or Gray do enough for them this season? Again, we'll have to wait and see. But I think overall, Watford's squad is quality enough to stay up. I think they'll be good enough defensively. Decore's just signed a new contract, so I think they'll be okay. Obviously, he's a big addition to their squad. Was there last season, but a new contract means he's not going anywhere, you'd hope. And then the likes of Newcastle, again, being touted for coming down. A lot of issues, kind of Rafa's saying off the pitch. Things not going well. They're not really signing new players. But I think Rafa's such a good manager that he'll be able to keep them up. I know people have said before Newcastle are too good to go down. I don't want to go along those lines. But I do think they will stay up this year. So for me, the bottom 3, Cardiff, Huddersfield and Fulham. But let me know what you think. Any Cardiff and Fulham fans, do you have enough to stay up? So we're going to take a look at the most clean sheets for a team, most assists and most goals. And I've kind of put my money where my mouth is when it comes to Liverpool. I've touted them as good for clean sheets this year, both on Twitter and in YouTube videos. I think the additions they've made to their squad, new goalkeeper, Fabinho in central defensive midfield, I think Keita's going to be good, box-to-box midfielder, and they've now got their back four kind of set, and it's not going to change too much. So the likes of Trent, Van Dijk, Lovren and Robertson, I think that looks really good for clean sheets. They kept 17 last year, which I think a lot of people would be surprised at. Like I said earlier, 1 less than Man City and 2 less than Man United. I think they can improve on that and potentially be the team with the most clean sheets this year. So my money's going on Liverpool. Most assists, I tried to look for someone that wasn't Kevin De Bruyne, but it's very difficult in a team that you know is going to score a ridiculous amount of goals, a player that's super creative, a player that doesn't get rotated too much. I just think he's going to be the main man. Obviously, you've got the likes of Eriksen at Spurs, but I just don't see Spurs scoring as many goals. There's just not going to be as many opportunities for him to assist. And then I did think about Ozil as well, but again, I just don't know if Arsenal are going to score enough goals. Ozil might be one for next year once they've all had a chance to embed into Emery's formation. Obviously, he has got Lacazette and Aubameyang to aim at now, and the different formation and system could work for Ozil. And obviously, he's always up there for chances created. So he would be kind of probably top 3 or 4 for me. I just don't think anyone can overtake De Bruyne. He got it last year, most assists, and I think he'll probably do it again this year. And then most goals, Harry Kane scored 30 goals, I think, last year. 29, I believe, the season before that. Like I've said in other videos, he's Mr. Consistent. Obviously, Salah did do it last year, but I'm putting my money on Kane to come back this year. I think Spurs have got a pretty settled squad like Liverpool. Liverpool will probably score more goals, but they're going to be shared around that kind of front 3 in the midfield. Whereas I think Spurs' focal point, obviously, is Harry Kane on penalties. I think he's going to retain his crown and get the Golden Boot this year, ahead of Salah and ahead of Aubameyang. And Aguero, if I thought he was going to play 90 minutes week in, week out, my money would be on him. But unfortunately, it's just probably not going to happen. So Harry Kane for me. Next up, we've got the highest FPL point scorer when it comes to goalkeepers, and to be honest, it was very hard not to just pick David De Gea for this, because obviously he did so well last year. Ederson finished about 14 points behind him, but did save 1 or 2 penalties, which helped towards his score, with only 16 clean sheets versus David De Gea's 18. The only thing I wonder about is the saves. So Ederson's made 58 saves last season. I think De Gea made something around 110, 115. So you could look at that and say, well, Ederson's not saving enough. Maybe that's why they didn't get enough clean sheets. But to me, I'm not sure that save percentage or save record from De Gea is necessarily sustainable. I think there's quite a few saves he made, which an average goalkeeper wouldn't have made. Now, obviously, you can say that David De Gea is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, so he should make those saves, but it doesn't necessarily work like that. And if he, say, made 10 absolutely godly saves, maybe he only makes 5 of those this year, we concede a few more goals, Man United, and keep a few less clean sheets. So I didn't want to just pick David De Gea, and I've gone for a different Liverpool defender for the top defender points. So I didn't want to pick Alisson Becker for this either. So I'm going to go for Ederson. I think Man City could up those clean sheets. I think they can keep more than 16 this year. Solid defence ahead of them, or ahead of Ederson. I think he could come out on top for FPL points this year. You've got the 4.5 million goalkeepers, which will provide good value because they have lots of saves but less clean sheets. But I think overall for the course of the season, I think Ederson will probably win out here. So highest scoring defender over the whole season, I've gone for Robertson. Kind of gave it away a little bit when talking about Ederson when I said I was going to go for a Liverpool defender. I just think at this point, Klopp's had to play him last year because Moreno just wasn't good enough. They've not signed a new left back. Robertson's going to be the main man. I can't see him missing too many matches because, like I say, Moreno is the defender that would have to come in. And he's just not defensively sound enough. 111 points for Robertson last year. 1 goal, 5 assists and 10 clean sheets. A pretty nice return for someone that didn't play for the whole season. So I can definitely see him doing a lot better than that this season when he's the main left back and playing most of the season. I think he's going to be the attacking outlet. Trent Alexander-Arnold on the right will obviously be an attacking outlet as well, but I think most of that is going to come down the left from Robertson. So assist potential, I think bonus potential from the clean sheets and the amount of crosses he's going to put in. And as we have seen, he can score, and he's already got 5 assists last season. So for me, he's the main man. There's obviously other defenders to look at. Alonso and Azpilicueta stick out at Chelsea, especially Azpilicueta. I think he's been the top scoring defender for the last 2 seasons, definitely the last season. Possibly it was Alonso the season before. But either way, he's always up there. He's got assist potential, clean sheets at Chelsea, and bonus points. He's the bonus master. The only thing I just wonder is, because they've gone to a flat back 4 now under Sarri instead of 3 at the back, will that take them a bit of time to get into? If Courtois goes, will that be an effect on them? Probably. I don't think they're going to be able to replace him with someone as good as Courtois. So for me, Chelsea a little bit worrying. Maybe Man United, if they get Alderweireld, could do well. But for me, Robertson's the main man. The only one that will kind of go close to him, I think, would be Benjamin Mendy. Similar kind of player, attacking, in a team that's going to keep a lot of clean sheets. But the only thing with Mendy is I think he's more likely to be subject to rotation just because of the strength and depth that Man City have got versus Liverpool. So for me, Robertson's going to play enough games and get enough attacking returns to come out as the top defender this year. Like I said at the start of the video, sometimes you've just got to pick the most obvious choice, and I think the highest scoring midfielder is going to be Mo Salah. I don't think many people would disagree with me. There's not too much to say about him. 303 points, 32 goals and 12 assists is an absolutely incredible record. Those assists nearly made him the top assister as well as the top goal scorer. So will he get 303 points again? Will he score over 30 goals again? I'm not so sure about that. It could see a bit of regression this year. I don't think it's going to be enough to stop him scoring the most points. The likes of Alexis Sanchez, we don't know what he's going to do. He's obviously done well in previous seasons, but we don't know quite how he's going to perform at Man United yet. Obviously, we saw him for a bit last year. Now has had a full pre-season and had a bit of a rest over the summer, so it could be good. I just don't think he can match Salah. Got the likes of Hazard. Hazard, does he want to go to Real Madrid? Are Chelsea going to let him go? If he stays, is he going to be sulking? Again, I don't know. And the likes of Sterling, De Bruyne and Sané will probably be right up there again. I just think they'll probably share enough points that they won't quite reach the likes of Mo Salah. So they'll score really, really well. I just don't think they'll beat Salah. So, like I said, it's not really an out there call at all, but sometimes you've got to go for the obvious one. So for me, Mo Salah, definitely the top midfielder for points. So putting my money where my mouth is again on this one. I've said a lot about Aubameyang pre-season. I think he's in for a really good FPL season overall. And I'm going to put him as the highest scoring forward. Yes, I've gone for Kane for most goals, but I think Aubameyang will be right up there with him, and he's going to probably get more assists for me this year. If he's not playing as a central striker, he's going to be playing as an inside forward on the left, coming in from that left, getting in the box, providing assists and goals. And I think that'll be enough to see him tick past Kane when it comes to FPL points if neither of them get injured. Obviously, Aubameyang should be as nailed as Kane, probably going to be on penalties as well. So unlike Aguero, who I just think will have not enough minutes to be right up there coming into the season, still have a great season when he plays, but just not quite enough to match Aubameyang and Kane. So Kane, highest goal scorer for me, but Aubameyang is the most point scorer this year. So that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. It's a little bit different to the normal videos I produce, especially pre-season. But I thought it'd be good to have this as a record going forward when it comes to the end of the season, to look back on how good, or like I say, how badly I probably did. Hopefully the video wasn't too long. I wanted to make sure I got enough predictions in there. Obviously, let me know in the comments below, and I'm sure you will, what you think of my predictions. Who do you think will be the highest scorer, most assists, most goals in the top 6 and bottom 3? We're really interested to know. Leave a comment below. A like on the video is always appreciated if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you're new around here. That'll let you know when my next video is going live and when I'm live streaming, which next time will be Thursday at 9 o'clock UK time. So hit the bell so you're notified for that, answering all your questions. Thanks again for all the support recently. We just hit 15,000 subscribers. We had 900 people watching the stream the other day, which is incredible. So I appreciate all that. Otherwise, I'm going to leave that video here. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers all.